Welcome back to Fires Drinking Coffee. On today's episode, we sit down with David Bergida. We talk about some ideas around health, eating, his new business that he's starting, his MMA career, and getting into the world of mixed martial arts, kind of what brought him there, as well as his fighting and rituals around his fights, kind of in line with our rules of the road that we got into last week. Definitely check him out, guys. And as always, little housekeeping, follow, rate, review, and check out our new Patreon. We have a $5 membership there where you can join. You'll get a bunch of new content, and we'll be releasing even more content there. Enjoy the show. Where exactly in Florida, Dave?
Tampa, Florida.
Tampa. Cool. I like Tampa. And tell us about yourself, kind of what got you into MMA, how we know you, and that can be the other part. What's the connections here? We have quite a few, but I know you used to train up here at DMA, and we also have the common link of good old Asim Fayez of Nova Barbell Club. But tell the listeners about yourself, Dave.
Yeah, so I guess they can all segue into each other. So how I kind of got into fighting, I have a wrestling background, a former Division I wrestler at Virginia Tech. And yeah, when I graduated college, I was just doing like coaching high school wrestling. Actually loved it, loved coaching. And when I moved to Northern Virginia, my day job didn't really allow me to make a high school practice. It was just too early in the day. So I started looking around for places that I can grapple at. Came across DMA, saw that they had a wrestling class, and two was also run by somebody who actually knows how to wrestle. Shout out Mark. I saw he was a D1 wrestler at American, Blair background. So I popped in there. I think the first person I spoke to at DMA was you, Scott. And yeah, it was in the old location on the second floor. And yeah, I mean, it was, a tiny space, but yeah, did the wrestling class and then figured, why not try the jujitsu, and started doing the jujitsu classes. And, I really liked the Saturday rolls. It was a lot of fun. So I'd go from work straight to DMA and, get training in. And then I also was thinking, why not try some MMA? Like fighting sounded interesting to me. I wasn't like fully invested in competing as a fighter right then and there, but in the back of my head, I thought about it, and I'm like, oh, like this would be kind of cool to give it a shot. Obviously, a lot of wrestlers end up transitioning into MMA, so yeah, I started taking some of the MMA classes with Kamal, and really liked it. Found that I really like hitting people too. I thought that was a lot of fun, and then yeah, I felt like I kind of had a good leg up with my wrestling background. I just think it, naturally I was able to be in good positions and have a good feel for, where I should be in jujitsu positions, or even for taking people down in MMA. So yeah, I got my start there, and then, one thing led to another, and actually it was during COVID, that whole period where I feel like we were all trying to train and we couldn't train. And it was kind of right when I started getting into, training at DMA is when COVID hit. And I kind of sat down and I was really thinking to myself, it's like, hey, do I really want to fight? Is this something that I really want to invest my time in? And, I didn't want to hit almost where the age I'm at now. I didn't want to hit like 32 or 33 and be like, what if? What if I tried fighting? And yeah, like honestly, like I'm really happy that I decided to do it. it's been a lot of fun. I'm obviously trying to get to the highest level. Um, I just I love the grind. I love competing. I just never lost that since graduating college. And yeah, that's kind of, I know it's a kind of long-winded
No, it's good.
story there, but that's what brings me to today.
Yeah, so obviously, David, you and I met years ago. I remember those conversations when you first came in the room too. It was awesome. You've always been a hardworking dude, so it seems like making the transition to like MMA after wrestling and maintaining that, like, what would you call? I guess like training lifestyle, like just staying at your best. You're really good at that, man. And maybe this is a good opportunity to talk a little bit about like some of the projects you're working on too, man. Because um, obviously I've known you for a while, but I've also, we follow each other on social media and you're always like posting cool, like optimization, like you're an optimization guy. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, yeah,
All right. All right.
100%.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I again, like talking about COVID, I feel like that changed a lot for me. I started taking health into my own hands. I think that happened for a lot of people too. They kind of had that uh, kind of realization that the people who you thought were like trying to look out for you actually aren't looking out for you, and you have to take health into your own hands. And yeah, I mean, I guess a little before that, I was experimenting with like keto and stuff like that. So I was starting to dip my toe into, different ways of optimizing my health. And then, yeah, I just really became infatuated with just trying to be the best possible version of myself in every regard. And, health is a really big aspect of that. Um, I mean, I probably should take a step back and, explain another reason why I was really invested in my health was back in, I think it was like 2015. So almost like my second to last year in college, found that I had a cyst in my pituitary gland, and what that cyst was doing was it's called prolactinoma, and what that cyst was doing was it was disrupting my hormones. So I had extremely low testosterone for the majority of my wrestling career. And I started getting it leveled out a little bit my final year of wrestling, but never got it to quite where like a normal healthy male was at. So I I was put on medicine for that, and honestly I'm still on that medicine. But yeah, like I started trying to figure out ways of, fixing it myself. Like I don't want to be on medicine the rest of my life. And yeah, so like my number one goal was like, hey, how do I naturally raise my own testosterone? And that's what dove me into, the all the different diets and the whole health realm and biohacking and all these different things to optimize my health. And yeah, I just got really it just I found it really interesting. And yeah, I just I do I love learning about it. I love doing all these different things. And yeah, I guess like taking me to where I am today, one thing that really helped me and just in the health regard of and optimizing testosterone is like sleep. Like sleep is super important for, you know, just being a healthy individual and even performing at a high level. And I just never really had my sleep locked down for a really long time. I would wake up in the middle of the night and just kind of be wide awake. And it was like a really consistent thing. So, through a lot of research, I started taking just raw honey and raw honey before bed. And what it does is, or what it did for me, is it leveled out uh, my glycogen stores overnight. So when your glycogen stores drop, and it triggers your body to wake up.
Hmm.
And that's the like glycogen stores is like signaling low blood sugar. So when I took the honey, it kind of kept me stable overnight. And then there's also other things that I'm sure you both have heard of, like, magnesium. Magnesium glycinate is really good before sleep. I also take L-theanine. L-theanine, helps calm your mind. That's something that's naturally in green tea. And then, yeah, it was just like those three things I was taking really consistently, and I was like, why not combine everything and make it easier for myself and not have to take all these different things before bed. So it gave me the idea to start producing pretty much a supplement. And I added tart cherry in there because tart cherry has been shown to, really help with sleep and recovery, especially for athletes. It naturally produces melatonin for you. And I also avoid just taking melatonin as a supplement because the more you take it, the less your body produces it itself.
Hmm.
And it also, when I would take it, I became heavily reliant on it, and I wouldn't be able to sleep without it. And then I also woke up in the mornings like super groggy. It was really tough to get out of bed. So I knew that was something that wasn't a good fit for me. But yeah, when I combined all these, started taking it, really worked for me. And yeah, that's where Hibernation Honey was born. And for my company, Farm to Fuel Foods. So yeah, I've been developing that since last June, and it's looking like, in the next few weeks, it should be ready to launch.
That's awesome, man. Out of curiosity, like what time do you recommend people take the honey?
Probably like 30 to 60 minutes before bed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about like when gosh, when that's like the recommendation on magnesium and stuff too. So that makes sense. And so you have that all packaged in together, and is this in like are these in packets? How is the
Yeah, yeah, they're in individual packets, so easy to travel with. So you can take a few of them if you're traveling. But yeah, it's a tear off. They're called like tear off pouch, and it's a liquid form, so you can take it straight up. It's not going to taste bad. It's honey, and with like a little bit of like tartness from the cherry. But you can also put it into tea, into a smoothie, into Greek yogurt. If you're doing a snack before bed, like you can drizzle it on like honestly whatever you're about to eat. So super convenient. And yeah, easy to travel with.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then so you're already, I assume you've already been testing these out on yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I that's where like I would never sell something that I don't take myself and don't believe in myself. So like I wanted to make sure if I'm putting something out there into the world, this is something that I can stand by and say like, hey, I take this every night. This works for me. And, I fully recognize it might not work for everyone too. I think it's a really very real thing to be prepared for. But I think testing it on myself and then sharing it around at the gym I go to here seems to work for a handful of people.
I would imagine like the other guys, especially in your gym, who have like similar lifestyles, right? Like you're probably surrounded by professional athletes and dudes who train just like professional athletes too. And by the way, dude, you were looking diced up in your weigh-in pictures. Was that 155 in your last one, man?
It was 160.
160.
But yeah, that was
Woohoo!
the lowest.
You were looking good though, man. So whatever you're doing is probably working, man.
Yeah,
And I know
shout
you've
out
been,
Asim.
yeah, shout out Asim, dude. Heck yeah, we shout him out like 2 or 3 times a month, so we never get sick of it. But yeah, dude, I'd be curious to know, man, like because you'd mentioned earlier that you've experienced or experimented with um a couple different versions of diets too, and like you've been on this, like you've been a professional athlete for a couple years, and you've trained like a professional athlete for, dude, I bet for what, like more than a decade with wrestling and everything.
Yeah.
For like years, right? So, I think you'd mentioned you tried keto. Like, what's your take on like what the demands that your body goes through? Like, what's after like I guess all the years, like what's if you've found something? I'm sure it's kind of like an ongoing process too. As we age, we all kind of like figure out as things shift, like what adaptations we got to make. But what is there like a specific diet or anything that you're like, what kind of protocols are you following right now that you find work well for you?
Yeah, I would say, and this is usually like the advice I give to somebody when they ask me like what I'm eating or like what my diet looks like. I I think the number one thing is eating one, cooking your own food, like
Mhm.
not relying on others, but yeah, I would say nutrient density and um avoiding processed foods. Like I think those two things are like the top priority for me. Like I'll eat red meat every day. I'm not somebody who like and I'm not, I don't fall into the idea that, red meat causes high cholesterol and all these different things. Like I don't think that's bad for you. That's just my opinion. Like don't don't come after me
Yeah,
for if
it's just
anybody
an
starts
opinion,
doing that.
guys. It's just an
But
opinion.
yeah, I mean like
Not a
I
doctor.
not definitely not a doctor. But yeah, red meat like almost daily. Eggs daily. Meat. But yeah, I said meat. Milk. Um, milk, rice, honey, maple syrup. I do eat vegetables. I A lot of potatoes. Um, I still eat I avoided greens for a while. I was like on that whole um, you know,
Carnivore kick.
yeah, not fully carnivore, but like, hey, like vegetables are bad and,
Mhm.
they have these oxalates and all these different things. So I avoid them for a while and then I started reintroducing them. And I actually, like, I like eating salads. Like, I don't eat them as my main meal, but I do like having some greens. It makes me feel good. So I it's definitely helped me get in tune with my body, and I think that's what a lot of people don't do enough or really know how to, is, like, listen to their body. Like, if you eat something and it makes you run to the bathroom immediately after, or you feel super sluggish and groggy after, like, it's probably what you're eating. It's not like anything else going on in the day, and a lot of people don't know how to look for those cues or really be aware of those cues, so a lot of it's, like, being in tune with my body, but yeah, I think the number one thing also is, again, just avoiding processed foods, processed oils, all those different things. That was probably the biggest shift noticed in my, um, probably just the way I looked. Like I always kind of carried a little bit of fat around like my abdomen area, like my lower abs. And when I removed processed foods, like it went away. And I'm sure it also helped, eating nutrient dense foods. Like again, I was avoiding eating steak every day, even though I love steak because I thought it was bad for me, or avoiding eggs every day. I thought it would like give me a heart attack. But I think it's a combination of all those different things that really help transform my health.
Well, and I think I think that's a really good point is people we tend to look at what other people are doing, right? And just try to do that. And it doesn't work for everyone, right? So like that point you were making about just listen to your own body, right? Like we feel like we should be able to do whatever the other person is doing. And why is that not working for us? And I think there's like a little bit of there's some psychology mixed in with that. Um and I think there's also we're on like the back end of like as a culture recovering from diet culture and like widespread eating disorders. So everyone's also kind of afraid of developing, of like the stigma of developing an eating disorder or whatever. And like diets are bad and all this weird shit. Right. Um, and so like I think a lot of people have gotten, and I guess we're on like a resurgence of diet culture. Everyone feels like they also need to be on, oh, no carbs. No, this is bad. This is bad. And like everyone's telling you that a food is bad.
Mhm.
At this point, every single food is bad according to, I don't know, influencers in the fitness realm. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that point on listen to your body is crucial because, not everyone is able to eat the same things. People have allergies and whatever else, like find what works. I think that's a really good point.
Yes, social media has done. I think it's done a lot of good for at least for me personally for my health. Um, but yeah, there's so much information out there that is goes against what the next person says. But then you have also these health influencers who are selling these programs who are also drugged up to the gills and all these different things. And yeah, they look amazing. These dudes are freaking roided up and all these different things, and they don't disclose that. And now they're pushing this lifestyle or these diets and these programs to, people who just want to look like them and not realize that it's impossible to look like them. It's challenging. I feel like it's just, again, it's really cool with the amount of information we have access to nowadays, but it's also, you have that other end where it's just like, it's too much information and you have too many people saying all these different things. It makes it really difficult for not even just the average person, but for an athlete to be like, how should I eat? Like, what is actually best for me?
Well, I think what you said there makes a huge difference too. Specifically the part where, like you said, as an athlete, which is, that's why I was asking you specifically, like with, being a professional athlete, but you watch these influencers or even like people out there not putting out bad information necessarily, but when you think about maybe a regular person, to differentiate between a regular person and like a high level athlete, someone who's on the mat or just like doing 2 workouts a day minimum, most weeks 5 to 7 days a week, like they're going to need something different than what this influencer is recommending to the broader public they might not be working out 5 days a week, much less 2 times a day for 5 days a week. And just like for myself, just to give an example, like I started drinking orange juice again. I love orange juice. When I was a kid, I was a freak for orange juice. I used to like demand it when I woke up as a baby.
And I was the same way.
Dude, I love it. But it's funny, David, like you mentioned like earlier, that something that stood out to me it's one of the first things I do when I wake up now. It's like I usually drink a little bit of water first, but then like right beside that is a big cup and I try to get like quality orange juice, which by the way, guys, sidebar comment. And then David, you might not have this because you're in Florida where you guys have like nice, fresh oranges like everywhere you look. But orange juice is expensive these days, man.
Yeah. Florida has they're going to be out of oranges sooner than we think.
No.
Yeah, Florida.
We
don't
get oranges. There's oranges nowhere.
What?
Like, yeah,
you can't plant trees in Florida anymore. Like you can't plant orange trees.
Well, maybe we need to talk about this because I'm kind of worried now because do you guys remember growing up, like there was like a big like Florida orange juice was like an advertising campaign that I grew up on. What the heck, man?
Here and I had the assumption that I would be able to go to any restaurant or cafe and have fresh squeezed orange juice everywhere, and they are non-existent.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
So citrus greening disease is what it's called.
Get the fuck out of here.
A bacterial infection spread by the Asian citrus psyllid. Yeah, so basically there's a giant blight that's been, the production of oranges has dropped 90% since 2003.
Are we blaming Asia? Is that what you said? Some sort of Asian thing? I mean, dude, someone has to pay for this.
You can blame something. I don't know.
Crazy. So then I guess it's California oranges or whatever. That's wild. I didn't know about that. But anyways.
You can blame globalization, I guess. That's how all this stuff gets over here.
Whatever, man. But I digress. But like when I drink it in the morning, man, like I feel like I feel great. So it's kind of like you said, like getting dialed into when you put something in your body. Almost immediately, like if you how you guys know how it is. Like, I mean, David, I doubt you eat fast food on a monthly basis, but I'm sure from time to time you probably have a cheat meal. I don't know. You could tell us. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but
yeah, no, I do.
Asim listens to the show, by the way.
Dave's on top of it. Like, Dave, if you have I'm not questioning your decision making on this, bro. But like when I do, if I'm like on top of my diet, like you said, if I'm cooking a lot, like, and I can control what's going into it, and, when I have a cheat meal, I feel okay after one meal. But like, if I do it a couple days a week, I will notice pretty shortly after I eat that I just don't feel right. But to contrast that with the OJ, it's like I drink the OJ, I'm like, dude, I feel good, man.
Yeah, it's interesting because people make the assumption that and even my parents do too. Like people just have this assumption that I won't eat anything unhealthy. Like I'm super, super strict with my diet. And it's just not true. Like I live by like the 90-10 rule, 90% of what I do is like what I eat and consume is good. And then, I leave that 10% of enjoying myself from time to time. Like, I'll never do a cheat day. Like, I won't have a day where I just completely unload and go off the rails, but I'll 100% have I guess I wouldn't even call it a cheat meal. Like, I'll eat things that are unhealthier, but if you're, at least in my opinion, if you're doing right 90 or even 80/20, like if you're doing right 80% of the time, that meal is not going to move the needle at all for you. Like that unhealthy meal is not going to do anything drastic to your progress for the week or the month. But if, yeah, like you said, like if you do it on a daily basis, like that's where you do throw things off. But I eat ice cream all the time. I mean,
You
I
make your
also
own
think
ice
ice
cream, though,
cream.
don't you? It's like
I
you make.
will, yeah, I do, but I still buy ice cream from the store. Like, I eat ice cream all the time. Like, I
What's your
eat
What's your favorite kind, man?
that I buy.
Yeah. What's your favorite brand?
Um,
Because there's some good brands that actually have decent, like,
yeah,
quality ingredients too. I've noticed. I also like ice cream, so like,
yeah. There's two that I predominantly get. One is ice cream for bears. I don't know if you guys,
no, I
if
never
it's
heard of
up near
that.
you guys. Maybe Mom's carries it
Hmm.
near you guys, but it's like 5 or 6 ingredients, and it's raw honey, like milk, cream, and then whatever flavor the ice cream is, but super simple ingredients, and it's sweetened by honey. It tastes good. I guess we're keeping on the honey train, but
Yeah.
there's another brand that's pretty clean. But yeah, there's a few brands that are clean ice cream, and if like you look at the back of the ingredients, and I think that's another important part of like if you are, because I say like remove processed foods. Like in the sense I do still eat processed foods, but I read the labels. If I look at packaged food, and on the back the label is pretty simple. Like, I can one understand, I know what these ingredients are. You start seeing all these different chemical compounds, probably not good. um but yeah, there's a lot of really good brands, especially in the last like 2 years or so, that they're really making a resurgence. You can go to Costco and actually get really high quality um, products now, and like packaged products, because people are really taking, wanting to eat good quality food, and it's all comes back to like the convenience factor. Like, I'm not like I recognize that it's a big part for a lot of people. Like, I'm busy, people are busy, like people aren't able to always just make every single meal for themselves or source all these different high quality ingredients. You want to be able to just have a quick, easy snack here and there. So yeah, I just, reading the nutrition label is a really big thing. But yeah, ice cream, love eating ice cream. I'll eat donuts. Like, I there's a donut spot that we go to here in Tampa. There was one in that I still think about in Arlington.
Was
Um,
it duck?
no, it wasn't duck. Um, it's slipping my mind. It's gonna bother me that I can't think of it.
Wait, which neighborhood?
It was in Boston.
Is it
It
good?
was it
Good
was
food company?
Yeah, good food. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
they're
those
nice, man.
those donuts, those donuts were. But like, I guess like when I say when I'll cheat, I'll make sure like if I'm gonna cheat or eat an unhealthy meal, it's gonna be a good quality unhealthy meal. Like, I'm
Hmm.
not gonna go to Dunkin' Donuts to get my donut. I'm gonna get
Hmm.
a good quality donut. If I'm gonna get pizza, I'm gonna go to a really good pizza spot. I'm not gonna get Domino's or any garbage like that. Like, I do try to, if it is gonna be unhealthier, like, I try to get, like, the best quality possible of unhealthy, if if that makes sense.
It
But
does.
but again, like, I guess, like, rounding it out, like, 80/20, 90/10, like, I I I wholeheartedly believe if you follow that, like, these these meals aren't gonna pull you back away from your goals, even as an athlete. Like, I think too many athletes just, yeah, especially fighters who people are, even like, even in jujitsu, people cut weight. You just get in the realm of like, after you're done cutting weight and you're in between fights or matches, you just go off the rails because you just deprived yourself for a little bit, and
Hmm.
then people just eat like garbage 24/7 until they have to cut weight again. like that's definitely not the way. And you're honestly just making it harder for yourself to cut weight over time. But yeah, like again, you can still enjoy yourself. And I I think people like kind of have this idea that I'm a little neurotic about what I eat. And in a sense, like I am always thoughtful about it, but I I'm more open-minded than people think.
Well, it's a martial arts, fighting, jujitsu, whatever, dude. It's like if you compete, it's mentally and like emotionally taxing, right? So like it does kind of help. And if like you said a second ago, some guys they go like all in, they get really dialed in, but there's like a mental fatigue you get from that after a while, and like you have to think about the long game. And like, do you want to do this for years, hopefully the rest of your life, and have some type of healthy athletic journey that you'll do until until you're an old guy. And so I think part of that, like you said, is like kind of having that like 90-10, 80-20, whatever, having that break where you're like, you know what, man, maybe I'll go get Pupatella pizza. I don't know if you ever got that, Dave. I'm sure you did up in Arlington.
So good.
I think I have. Yeah.
Dude, they
It's
advertise on the website. They only have like 4 ingredients in their dough. It's like the yeast, filtered water, sea salt, and like olive oil and or whatever,
Yeah.
wheat or whatever the hell, flour.
They import all of the
Quality.
ingredients from Italy.
Seriously, right? So, well, like you said, man, it's like okay, dude, like we're gonna be on this grind for years, whatever it may be. Like, have some pizza, man. Like, because the Mike's got me and Mike have a tournament coming up in 2 weeks, and I was kind of like complaining to him, I'm making a joke about how I'm kind of husky right now, and I've got to start to, and I've been pretty good about my diet, and I think Asim just had me pack on some weight, which is good because I would like to be heavier in my weight class. However, I gotta like pay attention for the next 10 to 14 days for sure. Just I can eat every day. I can eat real good. If I'm eating smart, should be just fine. But we're gonna have those times where it's like, all right, like now I gotta get fairly locked in here. So if there's a moment, as you said, where it's like, all right, dude, like let's savor this, let's make the most of it. Like you said, like you're gonna go in on some donuts, man, go in, enjoy it. Like just do it, get it done, and then the 10 days of me watching the meals, it becomes a more like I think a long-term balance for a human being, because we are human beings still, even if like we train nonstop.
Well, and there's, I mean, I know on my end of things, like it's one part of the whole equation that you can control, right? Like the food. And so like it's hard to like when that's not possible to like relinquish it, but like there is a flexibility you have to be willing to have so that so you don't go crazy. You don't have to eat whatever just because people are telling you to or they think you're weird, but because they usually do think you're weird, but that doesn't matter. But like you have to understand when like, all right, like I do need to eat something, and I'm not gonna be able to eat the thing that I want or I think I need to eat today. So like I need to make do, and like you're saying, then all right, well let's find the best possible option rather than the perfect option, right? Like so you have to be willing to like get out of your own way a little bit and accept like, all right, well I can still have something. I just need to be smart enough to not go off the rails like you talked about. So
hey, Dave, quick question. This is kind of just as Mike was talking, made me think of this. Because like in Mike and I's last episode of the show, we kind of did this like rules of the road kind of rant about like traveling and competing and stuff like that. And like I think if I understand correctly, your last flight was it in Toronto?
It was Montreal.
Montreal. Okay, but like you had to travel, right? And like you're a pro athlete, so you're gonna be traveling quite a bit. How do you have like a protocol when you're on the road for like keeping an eye on some of the things, especially like you're getting close to an event, like you probably want to be even more dialed in. Like what's your I'd be curious because like I said, me and Mike just kind of
road
ranted
rituals.
on this. Yeah, like how do you handle some of that? Like the demands of being like, all right, like because when you're at home, you can like overseeing everything we're talking about. It's simpler, right? Like it's still work, but like you get dialed into your community. You're like, all right, I know that place over there. If I do feel like getting pizza every other week or whatever, those guys are good. I buy my vegetables over here, my meat over there. Like, we all kind of have this like system around where we live, but when we hit the road, it gets kind of tricky. Like, how do you usually do that?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because my coach made a comment to me about how I'm usually like I'm always locked in and prepared from whenever we go somewhere. And yeah, I mean maybe it's a little bit because as we're getting closer to the fight, like I'm really hungry, so like I like the idea of like figuring out where I'm gonna eat after, and I'll search the area. So like, yeah, even like a week or two in advance, I'll pull up Google Maps and I'll start scoping out where I'm gonna go eat after weigh-ins, where I'm gonna go grocery shopping, what's like the high quality grocery store in the area. Like I'll do that. I'll 100% do that ahead of time. One, because it takes my mind off of food and being deprived. It's a little weird. I actually, even in wrestling season, I I liked watching like the Food Network. People think that's a little crazy. Like it helped. I don't know what the psychological explanation is, but it helped me. I just made me like excited to eat food instead of like miserable and depressed about not eating the food. But yeah, like I one my number one go to after weigh-ins is eating pho. I love I love pho, and I eat it because one, like I do a water cut, so I'm one flushing my entire system of water. The week of, I'm extremely low carb. I at a certain point I limit my sodium intake. So when I do after I do weigh in, I one need to hydrate a ton. I need to put that water back in. I need to get as much carbs in me as possible because one, I'm competing the next day, and I need the carbs
Mhm.
to perform. And then sodium, like I need to get a lot of sodium in. And what has all of that? It's pho. It's like a big brothy soup that is a massive sodium bomb and has a ton of noodles, and it has good quality protein. You get the tripe and
Mhm.
the like kind of like the cartilage, and then you get the ribeye or whatever kind of meat they're putting in there. So I always go for a big bowl of pho. That's like my go-to after weigh-ins. Um, and then yeah, I'm usually looking at finding a good quality grocery store to where I can get coconut waters. Um, Actually, what was really cool, and I've been wanting to try them, but they're like nowhere anywhere, at least in my area. Of they had maple water in Canada, and that's like their version of, I don't want to say their version of coconut water, but maple syrup has a ton of nutrients and minerals in maple syrup. So they have like water sweetened with maple syrup, and it was really good. And I was able to get a handful of those when I was in Montreal, and that helped hydrate me. And I drank that the day of the fight. But yeah, I pretty much prepare my grocery list. I prepare where I'm gonna eat. I prepare where I'm gonna eat the following day if there's time before the flight. Like I'm gonna figure out what the quality food in the area is. And I was actually really surprised. I didn't know Montreal is like known for food. Like they have
Mhm.
really good high quality food there. I got a good bagel in there, and I'm really strict about my bagels because, coming from Jersey, like I feel like, New Jersey, New York is like there's nothing better
It's
outside
bagel
of there,
capitals,
but
man.
it
Bagels and
is.
pizza, right?
Yeah, bagels and pizza. I'm definitely very stingy about those. I actually got good quality both of those in Montreal. There was a good pizza spot too that we grabbed a slice from. So yeah, like I guess as a long-winded way of answering your question, but yeah, I do my research before going wherever I go, and I'm always prepared.
Do you have a specific post-fight ritual? Like, is there specific food that you seek out in each city, or do you do that like place by place? Do you have like just look up whatever the best option is, or is there something you're specifically looking for?
Yeah, it's definitely a place by place basis. I'll see what they're kind of known for. Again, it depends on where I'm going. Like if I'm going somewhere that's just not a fun place to be at, there's
Ugh.
sometimes you travel and you're just like not in a city that you would actually want to ever go to, and not the best options. I'll just hold off until I get home. But yeah, I think it's just a place by place basis. Like Montreal was cool because I got to look up some places that I wanted to try. Trying to think of where else.
Did you
Like
sneak in
when
any
I was
poutine up in Montreal? I know they're known for that.
I didn't. I actually didn't, but my coach had some poutine. So
Yeah, there you go. Someone had some poutine.
Was that
someone had
before or
some.
after you weighed in?
What-
Did he smash that in front of you?
It was after I weighed in.
Oh, good.
What's your take on like week of, Dave? Do you like? Well, I guess maybe in general too. Are you a creatine guy?
Yeah, I am a creatine guy.
Mid cut, do you remove it, or do you kind of keep
Yeah,
it in the fact like in the game until like till you get till day of or whatever?
I remove it like about a week out.
Okay.
So I think Tyler from Nova, he told me to remove it. I think we were like 9 or 8 days out from weigh-ins, and that's when I cut it this time around. But yeah, I always remove. I mean, especially doing a water cut, you don't want to,
Right.
like, creatine will hold on to the water for
Yeah.
you, and it is interesting because like almost always like it's like 2 or 3 pounds that I drop whenever I remove.
Damn, no kidding.
Yeah.
Huh.
Intracellular water, man, because it keeps the
That makes
completely
sense.
draws it all in. That's why it makes you look jacked. um, any other little rituals or specific bits you have for the road, or is there like certain things that you feel like you need to travel with or do while when you're on travel for fights?
Yeah, I mean, I guess something maybe like interesting that I do and kind of going around like the biohacking realm. Um, Definitely focus on like my light environment. One, well, considering it's not a place that's freezing cold like when I was in Canada, but I do try to get outside as much and soak in as much sun as possible. I have a red light device that I bring with me that I travel with, and I'll use that after the flight. I'll use it on my face, or if I have any lingering kind of injuries going into the fight, that I'll make sure I hit the red light on those. I wear. I'm that weird guy in the airport that's wearing those either yellow or red tinted glasses, and I'll be wearing those to block out the blue light from my eyes. I guess even funnier, I'm also the guy who, I guess, so to say, is fearful of EMFs. So I'll wear a hat that is like an EMF blocking hat. It's like lined with silver on the inside. I'll also wear I have boxers that do the same. So gotta protect the boys
Yeah.
for when I'm traveling. And yeah, so I have, I guess, like my ritual in a sense. Like I always protect my head and my balls, and and try to keep my eyes like from straining too much from the blue light. Just all these like little things that can make a difference, especially when I'm cutting weight and I'm deprived, and I'm really don't have a ton of nutrients in me. I don't want to be doing any more harm to my body than I already am.
Yeah, your process is dialed in, buddy. You got it down. I like it. Hey man, why don't we talk a little bit about like your team, your training right now, man? So I is it Kaizen in Tampa?
Yeah, it's Kaizen. So I ironically,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny because I was, I would cross train at the Kaizen in Northern Virginia and just happened to end at Kaizen in Tampa.
Cool. So like what's
But
who's your head coach? Is it Jamie Varner? Is he one of them?
he's one of them. Yeah, my head coach is Vince McGinnis. So he's the owner of it's Kaizen Pro now, and we train out of Inside Control Academy, which is part of the Gracie network down here in Florida. But yeah, Vince McGinnis, he's my head coach. And then, yeah, ironically, I guess that's kind of a funny story of, how I met Jamie Varner. I was competing, I think it was only like my second month down here in Tampa, and I was competing in a jiu-jitsu competition, and Jamie Varner was in my bracket, and me not being probably as up to date or like long-term UFC fan as I should have, like I had no idea who he was. And yeah, I actually just lost a match, and he came up to me and introduced himself, and we started talking, and he's like asking if I fight. I'm like, oh yeah, I fight. I'm like kind of looking for my first pro fight right now, and he's like, oh yeah, I used to fight too, and he told me his name, and I'm like, oh, what weight did you fight at? And he's like, oh, I was a 55 pounder. I actually fought in the UFC. I'm like, oh no way, like. Do you know Kamal Ashaloris? And he's like, yeah, I fought him. And I'm like, no way. Kamal was my coach. And, Kamal still is my coach as well.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh yeah. And like, ironically, they fought to a draw. Like, so like, there's not even I don't want to say like bitterness. I mean, maybe there is bitterness because I'm sure they both wanted to win, but like, what are the odds that my
It's so
coach in
funny.
Virginia ended up fighting my now coach in Florida, and they fought to a draw? It just kind of seems like one of those, like, just like the universe aligning.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. I mean, like, both of them have been in my corner for some of my fights, and it's just like a really cool, like, coming together moment of like, wow, like these two guys who were competitors somehow ended up like coming back into each other's lives just because, they're helping train the same fighter. But yeah, so Jamie, I also work with Jamie. I cross train at a couple different gyms here in Tampa. I bounce around a little bit for my jujitsu and sometimes for sparring, but more or less, like, yeah, like, my coach Vince McGinnis has really transformed my striking. I think especially at DMA, working, I like grappling was a big focus, and getting my wrestling to blend with my jujitsu was, really, really pivotal in my career. And then Vince being the striking guru he is, he's really helped develop my striking to blend with my wrestling. So now it's, very heavy boxing to getting to my wrestling, and yeah, it's been working really well. Um yeah, I'm trying to think of kind of what else there is to it,
Yeah.
but
No,
yeah, that's where I'm at now.
that's cool, man. You're what's the cross training situation like in Tampa?
What do you mean, like?
Well, like, okay, so I mean, I feel like it's 2026 now. Most places, especially like a big city like Tampa, I feel like there's going to be a good culture for it. But like it used to be back in the day, it was kind of like you'd have to find some friendly places to go to, and some places would let you in, but it might be a little bit hostile. I'm
Yeah,
curious, like, what it's like down there.
it's good. I one, like, yeah, I'm lucky that I have a head coach that is totally cool with with cross training. I know some coaches like are like, that's a big no, and they get super bitter about it. But Vince is really cool about it. He's all about like, hey, whatever's best for us. I actually even cross train at I go to a boxing gym as well to work on my boxing. I mean, Vince comes with me to those sparring sessions, but yeah, everyone's super cool about it. Especially, I guess, if you're, being a pro fighter, they know that, having another, like, a good body in there for their guys is beneficial for them, and getting to roll with somebody different, or getting to spar with someone different than they already spar with on a daily basis. Like, it's good for everyone. And it's what we should be doing, because it was like the same thing with wrestling. It's like you wrestle and you fight these same people every single day. Like, you develop an understanding of how that person wrestles, or how that person fights, or how they roll in jujitsu. And you go from being able to, test things out and work on things, to like, this person knows exactly what I'm going to do. And even if I'm better than this person by like head over heels, like, I'm not going to be able to do my best against them, because they already know what's coming. They just understand how I roll or how I fight. So like, being able to cross train and get different bodies in it, like, it really does help everyone. So yeah, I guess I am really lucky that the gyms that I cross train at are, super cool. They're really open. again, I don't want to say it's like for everyone. They're open for everyone, but at least for me, like they've
Mhm.
always been really cool to me. They've been letting me come in whenever I want. And yeah, like super welcoming about letting me train with their guys. And I think the other good part is, especially sparring wise too, is and it plays something that I'm usually nervous about is, when you go and spar at a new gym, like the guys just want to take your head off. Like I don't know what it is, but maybe it's just like, hey, you're coming to my gym. I'm gonna try to embarrass you. I'm gonna try to hurt you. It's not the case here, or at least the places that I've been. Um, which is nice because when I do spar, I'm like not trying to get hurt, and I'm not trying to get in a full like 100% fight. I'm trying to get better. So it's good that I don't have to worry about that here.
Well, I know my take. Florida also has a really good jiu-jitsu scene. I've gone to South Florida mostly, so a little bit further down the way. But Florida in general has always had a good grappling scene as well. For at least for like the jiu-jitsu side, I don't know as much about wrestling. But my question, David, have you worn the gi ever?
I,
Have
s- I still have not worn the gi.
you worn it a single time? I'm just having fun with you.
I no, I know. I have never put on a gi.
Oh
I
man,
literally have.
you keep going until you absolutely have to.
Well, it is nice and hot down there, so it's just not really good gi weather.
Yeah, it's just that'll be my excuse. It's
Yeah.
just not gi weather down
Yeah,
here.
dude, it's not gi weather.
Can't repurpose a gi to go to the beach.
When you retire from fighting, you can have some fun in the gi, dude. And you're like, you know what? Let's just see what this is all about. See
I
what the
will.
fuss is. What's the fuss
I
with these
will mess
belts?
around with it. I mean, I plan on putting my kids in jujitsu,
Yeah,
and
man.
I think if they're gonna be putting on the gi, then it's only right that dad puts on the
They'll
gi
like
too.
that. They'll love seeing dad do that too. That's awesome, man. But no jokes. I mean, jokes aside, Florida jiu-jitsu is some of the best jiu-jitsu in the world.
Yeah, there's definitely really good gym. I mean, obviously, like there's a really good MMA scene too. Same in the same place. Like Miami area is great for MMA. We go there every maybe a couple of times a year. Go to my coach brings some of us to Kill Cliff and train with some of those guys. And being able to train with some of the top guys in the world is really cool. But yeah, and then jujitsu wise as well. Like I know that there's tons of guys who are out here competing on a daily basis, and they're doing the ADCC stuff.
Mhm.
The Gracie Tampa South, the place that I train at on Mondays, like I cross train at, like they have a bunch of guys that do the ADCCs and
Is that Matt
high level
Arroyo's
black belt.
place?
Yeah, it's Matt
That's right.
Arroyo's.
Yeah, I know Matt Arroyo. It's a really good place.
Yeah,
One of the
yeah,
best.
he's like, again, like speaking about somebody who's like been super cool about me cross training there, like the nicest guy. Like he's let me come in and roll with the guys on Monday, and yeah, like I get really high quality rolls, rolling with those black belts, and it's definitely helped. I mean, like Matt too, like rolling with Matt, even though he crushes me every time we roll. Um, it's helped level up my jujitsu game. So there's definitely tons of really great partners out here.
If you make it down to like South Florida, dude, check out Fight Sports and Wagner Hochhaus. I mean, they've always been really welcoming to me. When I go down there, they
Okay.
also have a good culture for like. I mean, those are you probably know. Fight Sports is Cyborg, so I'm sure you've heard of that dude.
Okay, yeah.
Wagner just competed in the UFC BJJ event like 2 days ago against Andrew Tackett, who is like 20 or 21 or something. So he's like 21 years older than him, dude. But it was super competitive. I mean, all I'm saying really is that these guys are like top of the sport. They love visitors. They love, especially like someone like you, they'd love to have you on the mat, man. Just someone's going to keep like the integrity of the training.
Yeah.
Kind of like protocol, just like a guy who's there to take care of business, like get better, good attitude, kind of understands like, hey, we're not here to hurt each other, but like, let's bang it out. Let's make this a good one. So they've always been really cool to me, but like, there's a bunch of other places in South Florida that I've heard are amazing. I just generally hone in on those two when I go down there.
Okay,
Well,
yeah, I'll
why mix
definitely
it up?
take note of this.
Well, I guess it's like if I go travel, like it's like I could mix it up, but if by the time I get from Virginia to South Florida, I'm just gonna go to where I know usually.
Yeah.
And they're good and they're cool and like the times of the day too. I love it. It's like they train their pro practice at Fight Sports is around 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, and they will shift like gi, no gi, like every other day. So I forgot the specific days. Like I think it's Tuesday, Thursdays for no gi, something like that. But it's like, and dude, like they because of what you said, Dave, where they're training for ADCC and stuff. Like these guys, they're not really pulling guard. Like you might see some of that, but which is relevant when you're doing the sport of jiu-jitsu because people are going to do that. So you got to see it. But those guys are like, they want to fight on the feet. Like, so they'll bang it out. They'll wrestle with you, which is cool too. So it gives you like, probably for what you're doing too, like a better version of grappling anyways. And then some dude just trying to grab your leg and sit to guard.
Yeah. 100%. It's funny. I actually learned that pretty quickly because I mean, I wasn't used to it because not many people do that at DMA. Like, I mean, at DMA, everyone was down to wrestle, and I came here and I had to get really quickly accustomed to people pulling guard and trying to leg lock me and heel hook me for literally everything that I did. So one, I guess my defense got a lot better in that regard, but yeah, it is nice going with people who are, down to wrestle, down to move on your feet, and yeah, they'll eventually pull guard, but
yeah, eventually they will.
Feet, that's good.
They'll give you like a good minute when they're like, "Nah, man, I want to wrestle with this guy. I'm gonna go for a heel hook." But man, I feel like once a year you'll see some MMA highlight somewhere. Like I said, once a year, not a ton, where some dude in some fight somewhere, and occasionally the UFC, but like it's usually like like a different program or a different event or whatever. But someone once a year will make like a highlight reel leg lock in MMA. But you don't see it too much more than that.
No, every once in a while you get like that like weird Ryan Hall moment, right? Like this guard sit, butt scoot, into the legs.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably once every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, for good reason.
You get that highlight.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, like if you get it, like it's obviously it's really, really tough to get out of. It's just as long as you can protect your face because you're gonna be as long as the guy knows what he's doing or able to slightly defend it, like you're about to get
blasted.
Taking a bunch of you're gonna blasted to the face. But
cost of doing business.
Some people's body, like the way they're built, it just works out well for them. If they're long and they can get their face away from somebody, and the other person might be shorter or shorter arms, and yeah, if you get your face away from that, like it's like you're gonna get stuck there.
For sure, dude. Let's go ahead and plug your shit because we're coming up on an hour here. So let's go ahead and any of the stuff you want to direct people towards, so the Honey Biz, are you still running the Farm to Fuel?
Yeah, so like the Farm to Fuel transitioned to the Honey Biz. So that's where it's under. But yeah, so farmtofuelfoods.com is the website. Our flagship product is Hibernation Honey. Simple, clean ingredients. I guess like going back to me calling out like the clean good label is there's nothing more than it's just raw honey, glycine, L-theanine, magnesium glycinate, organic tart cherry powder, purified water, and salt. Like those are the only ingredients. Should be ready to launch in the next couple weeks. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Pre-orders are open. So if you want to place an order, pre-orders are open. And yeah, like I'm definitely be focused on growing that biz along with continuing to fight and trying to work my way up the ladder there.
Well, and outside of Hibernation Honey, how can they follow your MMA career? Where can they find out what's going on for you there and your socials, that stuff?
Yeah, good call. You can follow me at Bergida MMA. So that's my what would you call it?
Last name?
That's my tag. Yeah, well, yeah.
Plus MMA. We could put that in the show notes for you too, bro. We'll put that in your website, so like it's also easy for people to click on.
Yeah, so everything will be down in the show notes, so they can highlight, copy, paste, click. It'll hyperlink. The link should be hyperlinked. Usually does.
Perfect.
But so all that, I'll throw all that in there so they can very easily get there. But
last thing though, Dave. Hey, so like on the fight career? What's next for you, man? I know you just came off of a good win. What are you thinking next?
Yeah, I I want to fight as soon as possible. I have a newborn at home, so
Congratulations, man.
Congrats.
thank you. Yeah, she is definitely my world. And my wife's been doing a great job holding it down while I've been training for this last fight. But yeah, just need to figure out some stuff at home and whatnot. But yeah, trying to fight as soon as possible. So hoping for early summer to try to get another fight. It'd be great to fight on that same promotion that I just fought on. It's called Samurai, up in Canada, and they're on Fight Pass. They did a great job and they treated me very well. So would like to stick with them, but at the end of the day, like I follow wherever the options are. So if someone offers me a fight that makes sense, I definitely will take that on. But yeah, next thing for me is just try to get another fight, either at 160 or even making it down to 155 this time. So that was a new weight class for me. I've been fighting at welterweight for my entire career and finally made my way down to that lower weight class. I think it's a good fit for me. And yeah, that's probably what's next on the horizon, is just, the next couple months, try to get another fight down there.
Awesome, man. Congratulations on the recent win. Congratulations on the newborn kid. I'm a dad myself. It's fun. So enjoy that part of it too.
Appreciate it.
So that's awesome, man. Thanks for coming on the show. This has been Fighters Drinking Coffee. Everybody definitely go check out Dave's Hibernation Honey and follow him on Instagram. There's some cool, you can watch his career unfold. If he's on Fight Pass now, you can also hone in on when he's actually fighting, so you can watch that. So that'll be fun, especially now if we're going to be watching that ourselves. We could do a fight companion for one of those. That would be kind of cool.
That would be awesome.
But yeah, man. So thanks for coming on the show. This has been Fighters Drinking Coffee. Remember, guys, like, follow, rate, review, subscribe. All of those things helps us out. So definitely hop on, do that. Keep listening to the show, and thank you guys.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Stay healthy. Keep fighting, man. Take care of the family. It's awesome talking to you, dude.